you doing, guys? Richard here from Yes I Can, and today I have a special property for you guys. This is sort of a little bit of a disaster, not really. It's a bit of an unfortunate situation, let's say. This is a property that we're doing a full home renovation on. 2 bathrooms, kitchen, flooring, lighting, electrical, a little bit of non-structural wall movement. Unfortunately, when we put this house apart, we found substantial structural termite damage. It was quite substantial, and everywhere we opened up, we found more of it. So the only way to we had a discussion with our customer, and the only way to sort of find out the extent of it was to open up the entire property. So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is I want to show you what it looks like when you have termite damage. Talk to you about the process of uncovering it and what's sort of involved in terms of pricing and what needs to be done to sort of rectify it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get cracking. So as you guys can see, this house is completely open. There's a lot of substantial amount of termite damage. Now, unfortunately, the majority of properties that I've seen before, I've never seen anything like this one in particular, because they've eaten all the walls and they really haven't touched the trusses. I mean, there is a little bit of truss damage, but very minimal. So unfortunately, what they've done is they've eaten most of your header beams on top of all your windows and sliding doors. And what that means is there's a fat, thick beam that goes above the windows. And what that does is it supports the roof and it stops it from sagging and dropping down and touching the window and putting unnecessary pressure on the window. So unfortunately, this project went from non-bearing, non-structural carpentry work to load-bearing structural carpentry work for replacement in 80% of this property. Now, the other thing that you got to consider is about 80% of this property has been termite damaged, unfortunately. So it's going to be a substantial amount of work. It's a substantial amount of delays. So the first thing I'm going to do is walk you through the property, point out some key features, and we'll take it from there. So as you can see, header beam is completely damaged. As we walk around here, you can quite clearly see the damages all up here, all around there. This was part of their nest up here. So you can sort of see they call them mud trails, but there's a substantial amount of it in this corner. So I believe this is where their nest was. And as you can tell, there's nothing. It's gonna fall on me. That's what happens, right? So if you come around this way, you can see that there's not much left of anything. Guys, termite damaged timber falls apart. Becomes like cardboard, because they eat majority of it and they leave a very thin layer of timber. They leave enough for and termites are extremely smart, by the way. They eat just enough to be able to support the load going this way without anything collapsing on them. Otherwise they would die. So that's how smart they are. They leave only these are like wafers I think they call them. So very easy to break off. But when you have the gyprock and everything, it holds together, which I think is amazing anyway. So all your header beams are sort of damaged, all your walls. I wanted to show you this guy. Okay. This is sort of what their nest looks like, or their track looks like. This is their poop per se, and it's just like mud. They eat the timber and it comes out like mud. So if anyone ever sees anything like this in their wall, start crying. This is what the termite poop and mud and tracks looks like. So if we come around here, guys, again, this is sort of what their tracks look like. So more nesting areas in here. And then we'll walk around, keep coming around here, and you'll see that it's pretty much absolutely everywhere, guys. Absolutely everywhere. Every header beam, every timber, 80% of this property, all around the 4 sides, except for that last wall on that side, everything has been damaged by termites. Guys, I'm just gonna walk you guys through here. Let's have a look. And you can see where it's all sort of fallen apart down here. It's not in the best shape, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Now with this property, guys, initially we were supposed to do sort of half the property stripped out, half the ceilings and half the walls. Unfortunately, when we found this kind of damage, we ended up opening up the entire property. The reason for that is if you're going to spend X amount of dollars, renovating a property like this, you don't want to leave any stone unturned. You want to make sure that you can find the extent of the damage and rectify it. Now, this client sort of knew that they had termites in here. Unfortunately, it was post buying this property. and they've been treating it ever since, but they'd had no idea of the extent of the damage. Now, this is where it's very important to find the company that's sort of gonna work with you, ensure that you don't overpay, for rectifications and repairs, which is a big common problem. Once you've signed the contract and something like this happen, I can pretty much charge anything I want, within reason, obviously. But unfortunately, a lot of companies do that. But at Yes I Can, we always take care of our customers. So what kind of expenses can you expect from from damage like this? Well, the first expense was we had to strip out the entire property. So it doubled the price of the demolition work here. The second thing is the carpentry work, obviously. It goes, structural work and non-structural work are two complete worlds apart. Non-structural carpentry is not very expensive at all. It's very quick in and out. Structural work is very expensive. And the reason for that is the insurances and the risk involved is quite substantial. So when you have someone do structural carpentry in your property, and you've got to make sure they have the right insurances, because if anything collapses, obviously there's a big problem there. The other thing that's involved in this is obviously the additional gyprocking that needs to be done because we stripped out everything. And something that people don't think about is the extra electrical and plumbing work that's necessary. When the electricians and the plumbers run their plumbing through the timber, they generally drill holes through them and they run their cables through or their plumbing through. Because of the walls are all damaged, all the plumbing and electrical has to be cut out, walls replaced, and then the roughing's done again. So that's going to add expense to that. In a project like this, you'll be looking at 25 to 35,000 for problems like this or rectification of this situation here before you're back onto the original, obviously contract and quotation. The good news for this customer is a lot of this work was not, I wouldn't say it was part of the original contract, but we were going to do a lot of sort of work around here anyway. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but it's still an inconvenience and time delays. Guys, we found this out about 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks later today, the carpentry is starting. So you can't expect people just to sort of fix things on the spot. If we have a time frame in place and something like this pops up, expect delays, expect additional charges. This is sort of in a nutshell, guys. I just wanted to tell you about it and show you guys around. And if you have any questions, you can contact us, info@yesican.com.au. You can call us on 1-800-300-YES. That's 1-800-300-937. Visit our website, www.yesican.com.au. And until next time, guys, don't forget, at Yes I Can, if we can't do it, no one can. See you later, guys.